Who's more likely to set the fastest lap in a race?
Whoever's in the quickest tyres.
Probably Blake.
Probably me.
Fastest lap in a race?
Probably me.
Well,
Can we just like...
got to go to champ, haven't you?
Yeah, we'll go with the champ.
Yeah, but I feel like that's not very humble for me to point at
Oh, you
myself.
point at me.
Blame lag for a mistake.
Hold the bus. Hold
With
the
all
bus.
due respect,
Blame
100%
lag.
you.
Lag?
If that was any of us, it'd be Blakely.
Yeah, I think so.
I could just see it.
Neglect to practice before a big race.
I don't think it's any of us, personally.
No, I can.
If it had to be someone.
Look, it is quite a harsh
It's
question.
me or you.
I'm pointing at you.
All right, so we've got a bit
I'm
of...
still going to you, mate. I'm not having that.
I'm going you because it's really funny.
Okay, you know what?
That's 2 versus 1 then.
That's been so.
To dominate in the rain.
Yeah, I'd give that to Blakely.
It's rude not to.
Yeah, it'd be weird not to. Yeah.
I love the rain.
Celebrate a win the loudest.
Oh, that's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. Gee.
I reckon I'll get the quietest.
Yeah, you'd be like, cheers, guys.
Sleep in on a race day.
I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like you.
I'll take that one.
You know what? Sorry, Alfie, mate.
If it went for breakfast at a certain time, then rock up half an hour before the race.
Yeah.
To try an impossible overtake.
Oh, 100%.
Right,
No,
Let's stop and
100%
analyse that.
Like, yeah.
Point
at yourself.
Explain your working.
Some of the
6 marks.
lunges you have done are incredibly ambitious.
And they work?
Not all the time. Not all the time.
It's nearly time for the penultimate race of the F1 Championship, the Esports World Cup coming down to this. And I feel no better person to talk to than Joel Chapman, the McLaren team boss. Thank you so much for joining us. Are we looking forward to Qatar?
Yes, Lucas had a fantastic Q3. He got through into Q3 and has qualified, I think it's P5, but due to grid pans is starting in P6. It's qualified P6, sorry, and due to grid pens is starting P5. Really happy for him because this event hasn't quite gone his way so far in both quali and race. So you could hear over the radio how delighted he was to move to the position he is or to get into Q3 rather. And for Alfie, he's done a fantastic job in the race. Quali has been his sort of letdown, but he's gained so many positions in both races that he's done so far this event. So he's keeping his spirits high and knows he has opportunities ahead of him.
Qualifying's really been a bit of an Achilles heel for you guys recently, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been a little bit tricky. I think the good news is in the races we've consistently moved forwards, which is fantastic to see. I think similar to event 1, we struggled as well in qualifying. We worked on it, focused on it. We came back stronger in event 2 and our quali did improve. I think the positive thing is the race is the trickier thing to get right. There's more kind of moving parts and more components to getting your race strategy and delivery correct. So the fact that we're moving forward in races is a really positive sign. We just need to continue to work on the slightly easier sort of thing to adjust and fix, which is qualifying.
Now, Alfie obviously new in the team this season. Luca's been with you for a couple of years. It's safe to say he's not been the happiest Lucas Blakely we've ever seen. How has he come into the end of the championship now?
Yeah, he's a fierce competitor. So you know, no driver, no athlete, no fierce competitor will be happy in the position that he's in, especially considering his world championship a couple of years ago. But the fantastic thing about Lucas is he's a fantastic professional. He very quickly gets his act together, focuses on the next opportunity, and there's no harder worker than Lucas Blakely, and he will always bounce back.
Honestly, he works so hard, his actual hands bleed. It's crazy on the steering wheel. It's mad to see. And Alfie, what has he learned over this year?
Yes, this is Alfie's second season in F1 sim racing. He's learned a ton. He's come into a pretty sort of consistent team lineup, which I think has been, you know, a fantastic place for him to hopefully come and call home because we have consistency within the team. There's always an adjustment period when you come into a new team, but Alfie's done a brilliant job. He has such a cool head, you know. Yeah, it's just been a fantastic addition to the team and has done brilliantly for us this year.
It's going to be a good race?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be good. Make sure you stay with us. Ariana, back to you.
Thank you very much, Claire and Joel. Lovely way to kick off the show. And now we can welcome Alex Jakes and Matt Gallagher. You guys, I mean, this is what the third race we're now doing of Event 3. We're well into it, aren't we? We're ready for this.
We are ready, we are raring, and we have a fantastic championship on the line. Red Bull looking good for the team championship, but who's going to take the drivers? It was looking very good for Jarno Opmeer, but he's further back on the grid.
He is, but we still can't rule him out, can we?
It's funny how our shift of narrative of, like, of course, we're getting closer to the Drivers' Championship being decided. If Opmeer starts 7th in any other race earlier on this season, we're like, he's the danger man. Look at his
Even
strategy.
last night, I would have probably said that exact sentence.
But we're into the penultimate race.
Come on now, different story.
Exactly. And Ronhaar starting 2nd. It's a great performance from him in qualifying, of course, promoted after Lawrence got that 10th-place grid penalty from qualifying. But it's all to play for. Ronhaar needs a big result. He has to win.
Yeah.
He has to beat Buremand in this and hope that Opmeer isn't on the podium.
Exactly that. Let's have a little look back at how qualifying unfolded earlier today.
Now Butcher drops down out in the first part of qualifying. Benham is in 13th. Manley is unable to find the lap time, missing out on Q3. Closest Lawrence has a 10th-place penalty, but he has provisional pole as it stands. We'll call it across the line. Barry Buremand, great time.
I mean, final lap in Qatar track limits are quite hard to stay on the track limit, but what can I say? I got pole again in this track, super happy with everything. My teammate did an amazing job as well. Super happy, super happy. Hopefully we can get a good point, and yeah, hopefully we can bring it home.
A very happy Barry there, and now hopefully a very happy Marcel Kefir joining us. Marcel, this is going to be an exciting race, as these guys have already touched on. The championship battle is really heating up now, and it's a matter of points at stake here that could swing it one way.
Yes, it could. But
Yes. Would you like to elaborate at all?
Well,
solid.
maybe.
Get him back to the other screen, please.
Honestly, like, it's amazing to see that Jarno is doing so well, but it's very annoying. I would wish it would be a bit less dominant. Like the last two races, they were just too good by the Red Bull squad.
You know we are live, Marcel. Right?
Yeah. I mean, also, like, I don't know, Thomas. I hope he actually managed to find a way back, and hopefully, I mean, I hope I don't get hate, but hopefully Jarno doesn't score points, so it's more exciting tomorrow. We don't know, but this is going to be a big one, and I think strategy is going to be important, which the Red Bull squad has been very strong at. Ferrari is also back at the top. Unfortunately, a bit too late for Barry to actually have a realistic shot at probably still being in the title fight with the driver standings, but yeah, it's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one. As it just said there, 4 points that Opmeer needs to score, 4 points advantage over Ronhaar to steal the championship today. Let's see what happens. But let's talk a little bit about this circuit, the Lusail International Circuit. It was an interesting one in qualifying. We saw the track limits violations keep popping up, but now we turn our attention to the race. It was Barry that won last year. It's Barry that starts on pole once again this year. Alex, if we judge it on the 1 year of data we have, looking good for him.
Looking great. Pole position, first place. It's Barry Buremand land, isn't it, on previous evidence. But Lusail International Circuit, it's fast, it's relentless, it looks downright exhausting for the drivers. So I think we're going to see mistakes. Getting that strategy right is going to be crucial. And you've got drivers in the mix who just have nothing to lose. You've got drivers in the mix who absolutely have to win, like Ronhaar, in order to keep his title hopes alive.
Yeah, we have that and so much more at play. But we're now going to have a little track head-to-head with our Ferrari boys, Barry Buremand and Nicolas Longuet, taking us through it.
It was very fast in Qatar last year. I think my only strength compared to him was the tire wear. I have better tire wear on the fronts, so I guess my car is able to then follow closer and just have a bit more grip, but just towards the end of the race.
Here comes Nicolas Longuet having a look on the Red Bull driver of Josh Idu. This is also important for the Constructors' Championship.
It's hard racing, no less, but Longuet managing to force the issue and get ahead of Josh Idu, so the Ferrari does push onwards and upwards.
When I won the race, obviously was from his help as well, because from what happened in Zandvoort, I was in a championship fight. So we're basically never gonna really fight each other unless it's the last race of the season and we are both for the driver title. We're just gonna fight to each other.
And Longay, no intention of overtaking Barry, just protecting the place in behind his teammate. So he's looking to gift Barry Burman potentially back-to-back race wins here today.
Qatar is just really hard to overtake. It would be hard to beat him, but I guess I would have to save the tire for the whole stint and then just pass him on the last lap if I can.
Obviously he's amazing, especially in the races with the tire, with everything. So it's not going to be easy, but of course I'm just going to try really hard if it's the last race of the season.
It's Ferrari delight again! It's another 1-2! Back-to-back 1-2s! Burman and Longay.
Barry Burman starting on pole position and Nicolas Longay lining up P4. Matt, that is a really strong starting position for the Ferrari team. They're going to be hoping that they can get a decent haul here, aren't they? And most crucially, get the win.
For sure, and I just think finally, we saw glimpses of potential in qualifying in Event 3, but not with both of the drivers delivering in that final stage in Q3. First and fourth is such a strong outing from them earlier on. Longay, of course, is trying to get on the podium for the first time this year, which is not something I don't think any of us would have expected coming into this. Of course, Barry has had some very, very highs, very, very big highs and very, very big lows in one championship season. So Barry, once again, they need to have a big result to try and catch Mercedes in the team's championship for P2. But yes, it's looking pretty good for them at the moment.
At the moment, let's not jinx anything. So let's move swiftly on. And Marcel, let's talk tyres, which we know you love to do, and also then a little bit of strategy. Take us through it.
Very lovely. So we are here with the C3, C2 and C1 compound around Qatar. And as we've seen last year, there was one strategy that was quite popular. If I remember correctly, it was, I think, the medium hard. That was also the winning strategy. For the Ferrari boys, they worked perfectly well together. And I think we can also have a look at the predicted tire strategy.
Here we go.
This one.
Did it again.
There we go.
Yeah, it looks like it could be a hard medium. But I think also the front runners might go for medium hard just to be safe. Because if you go for the hard medium and cars behind do the medium hard, they will get jumped in the pit lane. And this track is, I mean, even though it's easier to follow this year, it's still not super easy. So you kind of want to hold the track position. At the same time, you want the tire advantage because then you might be able to launch one down the inside of the hairpin in the middle sector. I think it will come down to the team and also the driver. What is this driving style? What is the team planning before? What do they do in practice at home or in the factory? Yeah, we'll find out in a bit.
We will indeed. Now, there's going to be all eyes on Thomas Ronhaar, who obviously lines up on the front row. But he does have Freddie Rasmussen starting P3, and we've already seen that Red Bull know how to use Freddie to really cause problems for Thomas. And this, of course, we don't have that double trouble with Jarno Opmeer being there too, but Freddie could still cause some problems here, couldn't he?
I think the real risk is if they can get them line astern, if they can get them in close proximity. We've seen how effective that's been in Mexico City, in Sao Paulo as well. But they're apart on the grid, and it's just a simple case of can they use Freddie Rasmussen as a spoiler to take points off Ronhaar, and will we see a classic Jarno Opmeer move through the field, long first stint, and then attack at the end?
Shall we find out? Let's get into it, I think. I'm going to leave you guys to it. I'm ready for this one. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Ariana. Here we go. It is Lusail International Circuit with the Drivers' Championship on the line. It's the business end of the season. 5.3 kilometers, 3.3 miles and 16 turns. Super high speed. Turn 6 is the hairpin where they crank on the most steering lock. The rest of the time you're carrying massive speed throughout. And it is going to be Duncan Houghlin at the back of the field. Declan Barrett will be alongside him in 19th position. Then it's Tycho Hardy, who is next to Ruben Pedrino in 17th place. He's in the Williams. Alfie Butcher was out in Q1. He's next to Joni Tormula, who's 15th on the grid for this one. Next row, and we progress to Tom Manley, who's next to Jake Benham. Both drivers who've been used to be in the top 10 when they've been qualifying so far this year. 10th-place grid penalty for Otis Lawrence puts him down in 12th position. Josh Ito is in 11th. They'll both be hoping for points at minimum. Shanaka Clay is the driver upgraded to the Haas. He's inside the top 10 along with teammate Thomas Gall. We move further forward. It's Istvan Pukki next to Jarno Opmeer, points leader, and driver trying to close the gap to Thomas Ronhaar, but he's further up the grid. Ismail Fassi, our first winner of the year, goes from 6th place. Then it's Lucas Blakely restored to the top 5. Nicholas Longe was 2nd last year. He goes from 4th on the grid today. Freddie Rasmussen is the real threat when it comes to Thomas Ronhaar's A-Ling Championship bid. But it ain't over until it's over. Barry Burman with his 2nd pole of the year, and he's attacking the field from the lights first of all.
There's a lot of talk about Opmeer versus Ronhaar. Let's not discount Fassi just yet. 28 points behind Opmeer, starting 6th on the grid is Fassi. It's an outside shot for sure, but he's not out of it just yet. And a big performance from him. And we may well be talking about him being in the equation as we head to Abu Dhabi tomorrow. There he is. He needs a big performance. We need to see Event 1 Fassi from him. But this one promises to be an exciting one. Can Ronhaar close the gap on Opmeer?
Will Opmeer score the 4 points he needs over Ronhaar and Fassi to take the title and become a 3-time sim racing world champion? It's a huge prize on offer. Ronhaar trying to take us to a title-deciding final round. These usually serene drivers feeling the pressure and the nerves. 5 red lights are on. And we're underway and racing to turn number 1. Freddie Rasmussen's got a good launch off the line. He's immediately past Thomas Ronhaar, who's dropped down to 4th position from 2nd on the grid. Not what he needed at the start of the race. He goes from the front row down to 4th. It could get worse. It could be 5th. He's struggling, and it's exactly the start he didn't need. Ronhaar down to 5th. Jarno Opmeer in 6th. It's Barry Burman next to his teammate as we move through the first turns of the racetrack. Longe, and then Burman in a Ferrari 1-2, exactly what we had before. We're on board with Ronhaar with it all to do. He's behind Ismail Fassi, and it's not too far away. Pukki and Opmeer going wheel to wheel for 6th position.
Ronhaar running on the hard tyres. No wonder he got terrible purchase off of the line, losing positions. Down to 5th goes Thomas Ronhaar. He wants to run his own race. Other drivers around him starting on the soft. Barry Burman on the medium tyres. You can see all the tyres on the left-hand side of your screen right now. But it's the Ferrari 1-2 out in front.
Oh, really massive spread of tyres compared to normal. Medium for Burman, soft for Longe, soft for Rasmussen, soft for Fassi, hard for Ronhaar, having started on the front row. Very unusual and a complete change, Matt, to what we've seen for the rest of the year. A spread of tyre compounds, haven't seen that too often.
Hold on, I'm just calling Marcel Kefir now. Yep, you're fired, Marcel. That is a tyre strategy out the window for most of these drivers. Soft for about half the field, it looks like there. As a move again, Ronhaar defending hard. This is a really important part of the race for Ronhaar. How much time can he save on these harder, more durable, but slower tyres? You can visibly see it.
Here comes his title rival on the softer rubber, being squeezed out. Can't risk it. Can't get front wing damage. Thomas Ronhaar, 2 steps harder tyres compared to Jarno Opmeer. He's on board and he knows that he's got the tyre advantage. Anyone else, he'd be looking to make a slam dunk pass. That is a better tyre to be on very early on. It is a heavy degradation circuit. It is one that punishes the tyres, and very quickly as well. Ronhaar has gone for the hardest compound. He will go to the medium for the end of the race, and he will try and come roaring back through. A reminder that Opmeer has to finish in front of Ronhaar and Fassi to take the title today. He is not in that position at the moment, but he has the opportunity to overtake in the next laps. That soft tyre will be good for the next laps. Medium, soft, 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 hard. The order of the top 5, our most strategically different race of the entire season so far, but a dream scenario for Ferrari, who finished in this order around this circuit 1 year ago.
Really important for Ronhaar to keep Opmeer at bay, as there's a 1 second gap now between Rasmussen and Fassi. Fassi will obviously try and close that in so he can have the benefit of DRS, which he is doing so now. Rasmussen looking very racy indeed behind the Ferraris, and he wants to have a little go at Longe, because of course Barry Burman on the medium tyres right now. The softs will be working better at this stage of the race. But Ronhaar, did you like the way he just said, "Okay, Omid, just come to the inside"? Well,
yeah.
look, I'm gonna no, I'm not gonna let you go down the inside. And Ronhaar knows it's important to keep his championship rival at bay.
So Freddie Rasmussen looking really racy through the first 2 turns of the circuit, but not having the momentum. And the run down to turn 4, everyone's getting runs, but they're not getting the room. And as a result, everyone's staying in formation. Burman, Longay, Rasmussen, Fassi, Ronhaar, Opmeer, Pukki, Edu, Lawrence, and then Manley and Tormula. Lawrence improving a couple of places off the line. He found himself on the soft tyre at the start and able to make it work to climb a couple of places after that 10-place grid penalty. He had qualified in 2nd position.
If we compare, say, for example, Lucas Blakely started 5th in this race. He is down to 12th on the hard tyres. And then you look at Ronhaar. I think he's done a brilliant job to only lose 3 positions, considering the difference in tyres at the beginning of this race. So Ronhaar's in a really good position because the next driver on his strategy, as I just mentioned, is Lucas Blakely, all the way down in 12th.
Fascinating that after potentially getting the tyre wrong in the last race in Sao Paulo, they felt the need, the confidence to go completely the other way as well to the others. Maybe they expected everyone to be on the medium and the hard. Either way, we've got the softs, we've got the mediums, we've got the hard tyres all on at the same time on lap 4 of 29. And then how far can they take those soft tyres? How far can Ferrari control things at the front before someone lower in the pack, usually in the middle of the pack, goes early for a different tyre? But you can't go too early around here, Matt, when it is so dependent on the tyre life that you have around the circuit.
And dependent as well as of having someone with you to have DRS and to be able to drag each other along around this circuit. It is fast and frantic. And I think Thomas Ronhaar, we're having a look at him right now, will be feeling very happy indeed in P5 on those hard tyres. He can just stick with the soft tyre runners now, and looking like he may well even be sizing up Fassi for a move. 0.3 of a second he is behind Fassi as we head towards turn 1. Not the hardest of braking zones, and hard to outbrake your opponent into T1.
They have to try and send it around the outside. He's nowhere near close enough to do that. Moving into 2, looking at trackside pictures. Thomas Ronhaar, a 1-time winner this year. And we go back to the start of the race that saw Ronhaar suffer from that launch off the line on the hard rubber.
I think Burman played a really good team game there because he noticed that Rasmussen was right on his rear diffuser, and I think just cost Rasmussen a little bit of time into turn 1, which allowed Longay to swoop round the outside and then into position 2. Maybe it was the inside, but either or, it was a brilliant team game from Ferrari there, and they just were going side by side to just stop Rasmussen from getting any kind of opportunity to take 2nd place, and that is how we currently have a Ferrari 1-2 out there at the moment.
Barry Burman leads by 0.8 of a second. Driver trying to score a 3rd different win this year, and his 2nd in a row at this circuit on lap 5 of 29. And Thomas Ronhaar all over the back of Fassi, and he has been one of the stars of the season so far. Looks like a very good run this time around. Right in the slipstream, right in the wheel tracks. And we're DRS wide open going down the main straight. So can he look to the outside line? There's so much speed carried in. And it's going to be nigh on impossible, which I think might speak a lot to the tyre that he's chosen.
Well, this is a strategic game from Ronhaar because it's quite difficult to overtake around here. So even making your opponent spend a little bit more energy defending on that previous lap will mean that Ronhaar can start to size up Fassi in the next few laps and might well even try a little nose round the outside. That's not going to happen this time round. But it is just incremental gains that these drivers are trying to get on the drivers around them. As Ronhaar definitely looks like the quicker driver at the moment. Fassi just about clinging on to the front 3 at this stage.
So Ronhaar, the driver we're focusing on that different tyre, the driver 2nd in the points on 115, Jarno Opmeer on 138. Ronhaar trying to win his maiden championship. Jarno Opmeer trying to take his 3rd title. Making our way through to the final corners of the racetrack. Turn 12, turn 13, and this is 14 to complete our run back to the line. And we go again over the line with a dream scenario at the moment for Ferrari. And we'll see live data for this battle. Two title protagonists, but not the drivers with the best chance. That's Jarno Opmeer, who is the driver watching on. And Ronhaar can get close down the main straight, but he cannot even shape for a move due to the high speed nature of this circuit and the high corner speed throughout.
Yeah, as we said coming into this, quite a difficult track to overtake. The hairpin in the middle part of the lap is a good overtaking opportunity and harder on the brakes. And you can try to be a little bit later on the brakes than your opponent, and that's why it can be a better overtaking opportunity. And then it is very much single file through here. Not seen any penalties yet for track limits, which is something I'm sure the drivers will be happy about. It's very easy to pick up warnings around here. As we look at the complexion of this one, we're going to have two completely different packs. Lucas Blakely all the way down to Hardy. They will be going much longer. Of course, Ronhaar is part of that pack as well, technically. And then we have the soft tyre runners. And Longuet looks to be struggling ever so slightly now. 3/4 of a second behind Barry. Of course, they'll be playing their ERS games. They'll be saving in certain parts of the lap so that Longuet can deploy it all the way down the straight and into turn 1, as you can probably see right about now. So Longuet still comfortable at the moment, but he's got to be very wary of Freddie Rasmussen behind.
Live standings for you at the bottom of your screen. As it stands, we have Jarno Opmeer, Thomas Ronhaar, and we have a last round decider.
It's not ending like that though, is it?
For the championship. I'd be amazed if it was. We're in our holding pattern at the start of the race. This is Jarno Opmeer. He's doing really nicely on that soft tyre. He can see his nearest rival for the title just up the road. I don't think he'd be too disappointed if it finished this way, but he said he didn't want it going all the way to Abu Dhabi. Doesn't have the same confidence, the same feel around that circuit. Very open and honest with us earlier on when he was speaking to us at the desk. 2 desk appearances in a row as the winner to swing the championship his way in recent times. And Jarno Opmeer attempting that 3rd championship. Driver trying to set a new landmark when it comes to the titles. Driver who's closed into 1 win away from the all-time record, which is currently held by Freddie Rasmussen after his win earlier on today. 15 wins in the championship for Opmeer, 16 for Freddie Rasmussen. Another lap on the board. The soft tyre runners going further and further into this 29-lap race. And soon someone's going to get twitchy. Soon someone's going to call into the pits and kickstart the crucial phase, the strategic phase that will decide this race. And if Red Bull play it correctly, could decide this championship.
And soon we might see some overtakes as well, Alex. That would be lovely. When we get the element of strategy thrown in and the hard tyre runners staying out there and then coming through on fresher rubber at the end, that's when we'll start to see it all kick off. Bear with us. Lap 9 of 29. Still 20 laps remaining. The championship on the line. Plenty to play for. As Fassi now starting to mount a little bit of a challenge in front of him. He looked to be the one struggling in the first part of this phase, of this race, sorry, but that may well have just been tyre conservation, because now Fassi is entering this conversation in the top 3 as 3/10 behind Rasmussen. Longuet, once again, you can see that sort of 7/8 gap throughout the lap, and then he'll just deploy all the way down the straight to close right back up to Barry Burman. As we see here, is that 88% battery? Yeah, he's doing all right. It's Fassi at the moment in P4.
Well, it does drain all the way through because you don't have the same braking energy compared to other circuits. That means that recharging it can be trickier, can take longer, but it does recharge as they go around. So they are still applying the brake pedal, just nowhere near as intensely as others. Into the pits we come for the first stop of the day. The Alpine coming in, receiving new tyres and heading back out onto the circuit.
Freddie Rasmussen's very close to Nicolas Longuet at the moment.
everyone closing up at this stage. Lap 10 of 29.
It's feeling like pit stops are coming, Alex.
Yeah, any moment now, surely. And who goes early? Who is desperate to make the pass? And who goes for that move to the pit lane? With so much on the line, Hardy and Gao are battling for 18th and 19th position. They've been swapping all the way through. But out front, Barry Burman chasing a 3rd win of the year. Nicholas Longuet chasing a 1st podium of the year. Freddie Rasmussen looking to win his 2nd race of the campaign. Fashi trying to improve and take his place back on the podium. Try and take points out of Otmir and hope for something dramatic in Abu Dhabi in a title decider. Thomas Ronhaar just hoping that he can make his alternative strategy work. And now it's time to see our race leader to the pit lane. Not the only one as well. Freddie Rasmussen finds himself continuing on. And it's Longuet, Rasmussen, Ronhaar continue on. The soft tyre runners sent round. Nicholas Longuet back in the lead of a sim racing contest, as the other two, including the championship leader, Jarno Opmeer, come into the pits. And you can see Jarno Opmeer is going to leave in close proximity to Fashi ahead. And they are all covering off Joni Tourmala, who came in. And Joni Tourmala goes ahead of his teammate Josh Edu. So the undercut is worth a lot here. Ronhaar on that hard tyre doing something totally different. Longuet and Rasmussen will surely respond. On the soft tyre, it is their time to call into the pits. They are the next ones to come through. And they will surely be the next ones to be received by their pit crew. It will launch Ronhaar into the lead for a defining stint if he is going to find himself a contender all the way to the final laps in Abu Dhabi.
Opmeer on an aggressive tyre strategy. This must be the penultimate race where he wants a bit of track position and to sort it out himself. And here we go then, more pit stops happening, and this will leave Ronhaar crucially on his own.
Yeah.
Which is not something I probably reckon they've factored into the strategy. Of course, he's leading the likes of Pookie, Lawrence and Manley. They're all on soft tyres at this stage. So Ronhaar doesn't really have many to work with at this stage. But he'll still be feeling pretty confident, pretty strong at the fact that he is now leading this race. And we'll see when he decides to pit. But let's see where the drivers that pitted a lap earlier filter into this equation.
Joni Tourmala's the fastest car out there. It's that type of race at the moment. You can see those who pitted earlier. Oh, it's super close on the apex. The two teammates, Nicholas Longuet and Barry Burman, separated by hardly anything. And Nicholas Longuet gets ahead of Barry Burman on that tyre. And that is a dramatic change then. Longuet moving from the soft to the medium. And it was the medium to the hard for Barry Burman, and Nicholas Longuet has track position of those who have stopped. He's at the head of the train.
Yeah, wise decision from Ferrari. Longuet and Burman, they realised obviously Nicholas has just come out the pits with medium tyres. So he is going to be the quicker of the two at this stage of the race. And Barry is just allowing that gap to extend, but he will once again close up in DRS and use a bit of energy to defend from behind. But crucially, yeah, Opmeer ahead of Rasmussen now with that undercut, as we hear from Pookie.
So yeah, Barry will be leading out of the pits on hard.
So just keeping Pookie updated on the strategy is what's going on at Mercedes. Ronhaar 2.2 seconds ahead of Lucas Blakely. More stops being completed. The lead car to stop in the race is Nicholas Longuet, chasing his first win of the season. And he's the one on the medium tyres at the moment. We'll cycle back through to the front. You can see how tight it is on the exit of the corner. Making our way behind Pookie, you can see behind the two Alpines. So Longuet, then Burman, Fashi, then Opmeer, Rasmussen, then Tourmala, Edu, then Pookie, the drivers who have stopped. And the hard runners going long at this stage. Just looking at Thomas Ronhaar and the gap to his championship rival on my timing page, 25.2 seconds between Jarno Opmeer and Thomas Ronhaar.
I cannot stress enough how important these laps are now for Thomas Ronhaar. This is championship defining. He's out there on his own, on a completely different strategy to his championship rival, Jarno Opmeer. These need to be perfect qualifying laps from him, out in front, because he doesn't want to lose too much time. He doesn't want to give himself too much to do when he bolts on some fresh rubber. This could be the making of Ronhaar's championship campaign or the breaking of it.
It's as simple as that. It's all on the line. It's why we love this contest so much, when it has these twists and turns.
Thomas has stayed out, by the way. He's going to go for an
winners.
overcut. We're going to have Taika Hardy in our way somewhere in the coming laps. Thomas has stayed.
Yeah, they're talking about the Kick-Sauber entry of Hardy up the road, going to be in their way in the coming laps, was the information. You can see there, Thomas Ronhaar, Jarno Opmeer. We're showing you the gap because they're the two championship contenders. Very, very tight, 24 seconds. Around a circuit that's high speed as well. So the lost time really in the balance. And just looking at that gap, it's not particularly coming down. We'll keep an eye on it, 24.6. We'll put a pin in 24.6 and we'll see whether Opmeer can make a dent. Crucially, Opmeer is trying to get by Ismail Fassi in the Williams. And suddenly, it's not clear air. Suddenly, there's no assistance from Freddie Rasmussen. It's a dogfight once again. It is a battle between these two competitors, and both championship competitors. Fassi's trying to give himself an outside chance, trying to take points out of his rival and do something later on to make sure that he could get within the 27 points that you need to still have a mathematical chance. 25 for the win, 1 point for pole position, 1 point for fastest lap, means that it's 27 to remain in contention for Fassi, who is one of our 7 different winners this year. He won the opening race of the campaign in Melbourne.
I wonder if Hardy is going to become some sort of factor here. Teams have to be very careful with how they deploy certain drivers. They don't want to be getting too in the way of what's going on as Jarno Opmeer tries to size another move on Ismail Fassi. Fassi's not going to want to give this one up.
Can't give it up. Can't give it up and still be a contender. And he lost points and the chance is gone. Chance that he has worked so hard for all year long. Intriguingly with Hardy, so the controversy yesterday was that a car was demonstrably running off the pace. If you just run on old hard tyres, you're going to have a massive offset anyway without demonstrably running off the pace.
Yeah, he's running at a pace that he wants the chasing pack to catch him, is what I would say, and analyse from that. He is 2.5 seconds slower than the drivers ahead of him on the exact same tyre.
Oh, it's going to be a fun chat to be had after this one. Intriguingly, Lucas Blakely has got the gap down from 2.5 seconds to 1.9 seconds. The former champion,
driving very well,
and McLaren man is closing the gap on Ronhaar. Both of them on the hard tyres. Ronhaar, very strong around here. You speak to all the drivers, they say he's very strong around here. Shanaka Clay's in the pits, which is why he's dropping down. Who was shaping for the move there? I think that was Pookie trying to get the move done on Tormula, running out of racetrack. You're on board with Lucas Blakely, former champion, reeling in the race leader, Ronhaar, driving for his championship aspirations. Where's Pookie? He's past Tormula now. Otis Lawrence has got past Tormula. So a tough couple of corners for the Finnish driver who drops down. And Tom Manley gets through as well. That is really tough. He gets shuffled offline here with the corners being so rhythmic. One into another, can cost you multiple places. That's exactly what it's happened for the Finn.
Let me give you a little bit of an insight into Thomas Ronhaar's teammate right now. 1 minute 24.9 Lucas Blakely did on exactly the same hard tyres. Hardy, 1 minute 28.5.
Ooh, okay.
This is going to get very dicey indeed, I believe, with a certain kick driver. Let's see how it unfolds. 5.6 seconds the gap between Hardy and Longuet. That's when he enters it, and we can see it right here.
Blakely, Pedreno, they've come into pit. They'll drop down the order. Blakely coming in, peeling in to the pits. You're looking at the highest driver to stop. Thomas Ronhaar leads by 2.7 seconds, running super, super late. The gap to his championship rival is now 23 seconds. Back out on to the pit straight we go with Lucas Blakely. And you can see he has peeled back in ahead of Pedreno, who stopped with him at the same time, and Blakely will try and make moves through the field. This one's so well poised with the championship on the line, Matt.
Certainly is. 12 laps to go, and Ronhaar remains out there. It'll be fascinating to see how Lucas Blakely does. He drove a brilliant first stint, it has to be said. Great to see some form return to McLaren on Blakely's side of the garage. And with those fresh medium tyres, what can he do? 17th at the moment for Blakely, and he'll very much be in Ronhaar territory with a 1 or 2 lap undercut. When does Ronhaar decide to blink? Hardy is now 2.3 ahead of the train.
Oh, this is going to be fascinating. Ronhaar comes in. 19 seconds is not enough to maintain the advantage over Otmir, but Ronhaar will have much faster tyres. He also has his teammate in play, but you cannot demonstrably influence the speed of the session for your competitors without a penalty. But he's not racing tomorrow. It's Brendan Lee. It's Brendan Lee in the car tomorrow.
Nothing to lose for Hardy.
Ronhaar back into contention. He's going to slot in, and he's going to slot in behind Lucas Blakely, which is not ideal for Thomas Ronhaar. He's got the yellow-walled medium tyre on, and Ronhaar has to now go roaring through the pack to try and get back up to Jarno Otmir, or the party will start for the three-peater.
Leave it now. Championship's done. Jarno Otmir, a 3-time champ. But it is not over. I don't think Ronhaar would have wanted Blakely ahead of him. He's not going to be able to fly past Blakely. He's going to be a little bit slower than the kick-style, but just purely from the fact he's pitted a little bit earlier. But 11 laps. I know that Ronhaar's in 15th right now, but he is going to be so much quicker than the drivers ahead.
And Longuet has caught.
No front wing damage. Keep the ERS a bit high. We might lose some time, but it's okay. We're all in the train anyway.
All in the train. Let's have a party.
The Hardy train.
The Hardy train, all aboard. Let's go. Let's see how long Hardy can keep the pack behind, because it is going to have a massive influence here. The man parachuted in for his first day in the championship has 0.3 of a second. Can he do anything about Longuet? Is he going to bother doing anything about Longuet? Can he do anything about Longuet? Doesn't look like it, does it? No.
Doesn't need to. That's not his focus. His one primary focus is to slow down Jarno Otmir. It's as simple as that.
It's going to be so controversial if it's as blatant as it appears it might be in a few moments' time.
Well, I can promise you now Hardy's not going to score points. Look how much slower he is out there right now. And of course he is going to try and slow down the rest of the pack purely because Ronhaar needs to win this race. So Longuet getting through so quickly, not ideal. And that's the other Ferrari, but look at Fassi as well.
Fassi looking to the inside, trying to slow the pack up. It's harder said than done. There's a tyre offset. Outside line can become the inside line. Hardy's thinking about where Otmir is. Fassi will go as well, and then the battle will really begin. Hardy is ahead of Otmir now. Otmir knows if he can clear the green kick salver, there's going to be a big opportunity. Meanwhile, Thomas Ronhaar massively on the attack, but he's trying to keep Edu behind. This is not working out brilliantly at the moment. Lucas Blakely getting ahead. This is not an easy track to overtake him. They went for the offset strategy. They went for the different strategy.
Oh, look at this!
And now it's an absolute queue behind. And Hardy's trying to keep him behind, but he won't keep him behind. That's going to be a tyre offset, enormous tyre offset. Jarno Otmir streaking clear. Jarno Otmir moving clear of the pack. Hardy wasn't able to hold him up. Couldn't hold him up. Freddie Rasmussen is line astern as well.
Who's up the inside?
He's up the inside. It's crucial moments. And roaring back through and trying to take the place. Pookie's in the middle there. It's not what the Red Bull pair needs. And all of this scrapping. This is absolutely dramatic stuff now. They've cost themselves an enormous amount of time. But Ronhaar is in the pack. Rasmussen is through to play rear gunner. And Jarno Otmir has one hand on the championship trophy.
Ronhaar will have something to say about that, though. He's up to P11 already with 9 laps to go. It's just so chaotic out there. It's so easy to pick up damage or just run wide or pick up a penalty. Here's Ronhaar on Blakely. This will be crucial.
This is absolutely massive for Thomas Ronhaar. It's so fast. There's no real braking zones. This isn't turn it into a traction race and a simple up and under. It's not that type of racetrack. They lost track position because Blakely came in one lap earlier, undercut them, and now they're on a great tyre at a great stage of the race, but it's lap 20 of 29.
Crucially for Otmir, he's spent some energy and got back within DRS of Fassi. I think it was 1.6 seconds the gap after Hardy caused that bit of chaos. So Otmir's done a very good job to be back in the hunt for the victory now.
Well, we're running out of time, potentially, for the Drivers' Championship battle.
Ronhaar's under pressure. Pedreno's looking at him.
This is not what Ronhaar needed.
Oh,
that's a late braking move. Can he make his way by? Wow, that was a move and a half when he needed one. Super stuff. And Thomas Ronhaar clears Lucas Blakely with a bold move. And that is massive because everyone else ahead is going to be on older tyres, worn tyres, tyres that he should be able to get by. And that is a huge move in the context of the drivers' battle.
There's a gap now in the train, 1.5 to Jarno. You guys can clear it. And there's a gap now.
So the gap in the train, the message. Longuet searching for his first win of the year. Burman there to pick up the pieces if those medium tyres disappear. Ferrari well placed to win for the second year in a row. Ronhaar clearing Manley. And now there is a real momentum to his charge. Next up the road is Otis Lawrence. Oh, that was so close in the background. How are they not sending each other spinning round? Shanaka Clay, Tom Manley in the background. And it's absolutely brutal. Smiles on faces. Ronhaar's up to 8th.
Wow, I can't believe that. Ronhaar has gained 3 positions in 1 lap. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination. P8 for Ronhaar. Jarno Otmir stuck in 4th at the moment. In the background, you've got Lucas Blakely and Manley fighting for the final points-paying position. Into turn 1 we go, and Lucas should get that one with his pretty decent medium tyres on that McLaren. But Ronhaar, how many more cars can he pass? And oh yeah, Alex, he has to pass Jarno Otmir as well.
He has to pass Jarno Otmir. He has to pass Freddie Rasmussen. It's really in the balance. It's got to get right up the road. He's got so much to do. Ronhaar up against Otis Lawrence. Ronhaar, he's clearing cars at will at the moment.
He's driving on 0% AI right now, Alex.
Absolutely steaming through, but he needs to. And not enough to just clear Otmir. He's got to get at least ahead as well, hasn't he? So this is going to be absolutely crucial. Can he get there in time? Can he get past Ronhaar, giving us such a moment of jeopardy at the end of this championship? Can he limit the points that Otmir has over him and take it to a final round? But more than that, can he worry all of those ahead and roar through for the win? Because there's one thing having a mathematical chance, there's another thing outscoring everyone. The 4th man of Qatar is Thomas Ronhaar, passing people at will, having the time of his life. Pressure, what pressure? The next 2 are the Red Bulls.
So not one team, but 2 teams he has to beat now that are both working together, line astern. Rasmussen and Otmir, and Burmand and Longuet. Yes, get past Jarno Otmir, take it to Abu Dhabi, but Ronhaar needs to win this race. Simple as that. And he has 5 more cars to go.
Incredible. It's as simple as that, and it's as complicated as that. It's a late send! Is it a great send? Yes! Thomas Ronhaar clears Freddie Rasmussen, and the 2 title rivals are not separated by absolutely nothing at all. Up and under move. Rasmussen went all in trying to claim it. Ronhaar gets back ahead. It's Otmir ahead of Ronhaar. Game on for the championship of the world.
Intelligent driving from Ronhaar there. He knew Rasmussen was going to come back at him, and he said, yep, go on then, ciao. Back up the inside he goes. Ronhaar up and under, up to P5. Now it's Jarno Otmir's turn.
I don't want to hear after this race. Yeah, it's actually pretty simple to execute all the way through. This is everything they worked for such a long time. Behind the wheel. Hours, years dedicated to get a chance like this in the Sim Racing World Championship. And Ronhaar is closing in on his title rival. Has he still got the tyre offset? Oh, that is so close from Freddie Rasmussen into the first turn. The lead car in 4th place is Otmir. The green one is Ronhaar. Is the tyre offset going to continue? Will there be more passes? If there is another pass, how many more could we see in the remaining laps? Thomas Ronhaar did all the heavy lifting earlier on in this race. Tries that move! The 2 title rivals hardly separated at all. And that was a bold move to get ahead. We're on board with a 4th position car, now ahead of his title rival, Ronhaar to P4. Can he win it?
Did you see the camera as well? We said, let's go! As soon as he got through on Otmir, he did exactly the same move as he did to Rasmussen. Little bit of contact, but it was measured. Ronhaar up to 4th, and he's already behind Fassi.
Ronhaar is tearing into this field for fun. This is a brilliant run through to keep the title alive. It's not enough for Jarno Otmir at the moment to claim the title. He's not too far away, though. He's in the tracks. Has he kept battery for an attack here? Fassi's trying to keep his title aspirations alive. We're on board with Thomas Ronhaar, quite literally the Flying Dutchman right now. The Williams is disappearing down the road. Where's Otmir? Where is Otmir in relation to his rival? He's not in a position to try and retake the place. Thank you, Mr. Director, for showing us that. We'll go back to Ronhaar, if you'd be so kind, because now he's looking forward at the Williams. Top man, thank you very much. Sorry, should be taking control of the wheel with that way. But anyway, I appreciate that we're seeing the pictures. Ferrari 1-2, and then 2 of the drivers trying to stop Jarno Otmir's 3-peat.
And there it is!
Do it again! Again into turn 6. The heaviest braking zone, and Ronhaar just waits. He carries the speed through 1, into 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then the only time you really hammer the brakes around this circuit, he's through again. On the charge, and then some. The man who is 3rd, with just the Scarlet Ferraris between him and a famous win that takes us to a final round decider.
Fassi's under pressure from Otmir as well. These are crucial points in the championship. Otmir knows that Ronhaar has a great opportunity to win this one. Are we renaming the hairpin Ronhaar corner? Maybe, after the amount of dive bombs he's done into there, but they've been measured and they've been great. Edu picks up a penalty, a 3-second time penalty, but he is down and out in P18. But focusing, once again, 4 laps are about to start, lap 26 of 29, and look how close Ronhaar is already.
Ronhaar shaping up for the move. Also watch for Jarno Otmir trying to get past Fassi, trying to take 4th position. He had a good run out of the final corner, and he finds himself with a chance, but you need so much momentum.
Look at the grip he's got.
Tick off the corners. Here we go. Let's keep it nice and calm, because it might get exciting if we get past Barry Burriman. Nicolas Longuet chasing his 1st win of the season. Barry Burriman trying to defend for his teammate and great friend. You know what's coming next? It's turn number 6. Oh, he's gone to the outside. You can't change lines that late in the day without risking your front wing. It's not getting as simple. Ronhaar's got the grip, but he didn't have the room.
Barry's been watching his mirrors, I can tell you that. He knew exactly what was coming. It was a late defensive move, but Barry stays ahead, and it is so crucial. If he wants to see Longuet win this one, he needs to hold on for another couple of laps. But look how much grip Ronhaar has out there. He's still right behind.
Thomas Ronhaar won't need many opportunities, but it is turn 6 that has been the electric corner for him. Look how quick this stuff is. You're not touching the brake pedal. You're easing off, you're potentially downshifting, and now you prepare the car. Round the 14th and final turn of this racetrack. You hear the pip for the DRS. Barry Burriman knows that in 5 corners time, he's going to have the Kick Sauber launching another attack for P2. And Otmir is not in a position to challenge the Williams ahead. We're watching our way through. Okay, you can come out from behind the sofa now. It's nearly time for another attempt to take 2nd position with a superior tyre after hard work on the hard earlier on. Let's see whether it all pays off.
He's deploying!
And he's not able to get there, not able to get close. And Burriman's having to absolutely hammer into his teammates' advantage as well. Oh, the move! Oh, that's brilliant! He's got through! Oh, we weren't expecting it! Oh, he nearly dropped it on the exit of the corner. Will it let the Ferrari through? It won't. 2nd place for Thomas Ronhaar. 1 car away from the win of his life to take the championship battle all the way to Abu Dhabi.
send it down the inside there.
He's the only threat, right?
Yeah.
He's the only threat, but he's a big threat, Alex.
The only threat is the guy in P2 is not the sentence you want to hear when you're heading on to the penultimate lap of the race. That's what's coming your way. Wow, he started on the hards. That was a bold call. He had to roar through the entire field. Easy to do that up until the big names. The moment he got Freddie Rasmussen, you knew it was on. It was a very, very aggressive move to take his title rival, and then he is scythed away. It's going to be Longuet or it's going to be Ronhaar. And that still is going to be a moment where it will all be on the line. It will be a moment of brinkmanship, and it could be coming our way in just a few corners' time. And after that, there still might be an offsetting grip that gives the opportunity. Longuet wants this win. Ronhaar wants this title. We're finding our way working the wheel into the corners where Ronhaar has been utterly sensational in this battle so far. And Longuet is going to try and rotate the car, try and keep some battery in. You can see how much Ronhaar is moving around. He's done the job to take it to a title decider. We're on board with the race leader who's picking his way through. You can see the battery there in a good condition. That's good news for him. He's having to deploy it though. Ronhaar's deploying everything. Wants to leave something at bay. Wants to leave something to deploy on the last lap, which is where we're heading to in a few corners' time, Matt Gallagher.
One more overtake for Ronhaar to sign an incredible finale tomorrow. It is going to tomorrow unless something ridiculously bad happens to Ronhaar. On this final lap, Longuet went a little bit wide around the final corner. That's going to give a little bit of an opportunity. He's already defending, Alex, heading towards turn one.
Longuet onto the 29th and final lap of the race. Ronhaar trying to position the car to take advantage. He's caught him earlier than he would have expected. Longuet's Ferrari nearly breaking traction. The kick Sauber using all of the roads. Ronhaar concentrating. Longuet doing the same. One man looking for the championship. One man looking for a win that would mean so much after a difficult season. But we're heading to that corner where you hit the brake pedal harder than at any other point. He's not able to get there at the moment, but he is able to close up. Ronhaar currently in second place. Can he heap the pressure on? Are there any more corners that he can use to try and take first place in the race?
It's a 5-lap difference of medium tyres. Ronhaar has all the grip available to him. Can he find the moment?
He's getting to the inside. He makes contact. He brushes by. He takes the lead. Thomas Ronhaar takes the lead on the last lap. And Longuet will try and fight back, but I'm not sure there's a way by. Thomas Ronhaar has roared past all of them in the final corners, and we're heading to turn number 12. Longuet will be denied on the last lap. Thomas Ronhaar will get to the 14th and final turn. He will rotate the car into the right-hander, having overtaken nearly all of them. We will see you tomorrow, because we've got a title decider thanks to Thomas Ronhaar, the sensational winner in Qatar, and still a contender for the title.
Can you believe it? What a drive from Thomas Ronhaar. As you said, Alex, had to pass pretty much the entire field. He went on a strategy on his own. Hard tyres at the beginning. And wow, I know for a fact there'll be some conversations. Was Ronhaar's moves legal? There was contact out there. But right now, all we can do is applaud. That is a champion's drive. Is it going to be enough into tomorrow? Otmir still has the advantage. It's a solid result from him as well. But my goodness gracious me, Alex Jakes. I think everybody should check their diaries for tomorrow and just block it out.
Well, it was aggressive. There was wheel banging. Ronhaar, clearly a man who subscribes to the notion that rubbing is racing. He's a race winner. And there are animated conversations going on in a way that we just consistently see all the time. A 15-point swing leaves us with Otmir on 148, Ronhaar on 140, and that is the brink of winner-take-all, just over winner-take-all. If he takes pole tomorrow...
And fastest lap.
Then we're in a different story. Ronhaar would then send his way to countback. Oh, there's so many things to get into tomorrow, but he's given himself every single opportunity. There is contact with some of those moves, All we can tell you about is what he's done on track. You'll have your opinion on what you've just seen. What we've just seen is a driver call an unusual strategy with the tyre and roar through in an absolute stone-cold classic of a sim race that we've enjoyed in the penultimate one of the year. Jarno Opmeer is smiling, debriefing with his other drivers, and Ronhaar has given himself a chance. Ferrari do not look overly happy with what's happened, but we have seen a spectacle that sums up the brilliance of these drivers. So close, so tight, and in the end, Ronhaar all the way to the flag in the lead. The driver who won it by half a second. An extraordinary contest, and we have watched something pretty special.
You can feel the energy. You know, I think we're hyped up. Of course, Ronhaar there, he can't believe it. I think, well, once we get to speak to him in a moment, we'll of course ask him the questions about his moves, about how he was feeling during that one. But we did wonder, didn't we? Has he left it a little bit too late? Has he got a little bit too much to do around a track that's not easy to overtake? Some of the moves he pulled at corners, you just don't expect to see side by side.
Well, that's the drive of a man who knew that he just needed to make incisive passes. That is an absolute race and a half, full of great overtakes, full of controversy, and full of brilliant competitors, one of whom, Nicholas Longuet, in conversation with Claire Cottingham.
A day, of course, for Ferrari to remember. It is 2-3, rather. Sorry to put a little salt in that wound. It was a 2-3, of course. You, at the end, just let your teammate through for championship points, but it was such a stellar drive from you. And unfortunately, Thomas Ronhaar behind, he was taking no prisoners.
Yeah, there was not much more I could have done in that race. I think we drove it perfectly from start to finish. Obviously, Taiko helping, slowing everyone down for Thomas, helped him a lot in the fight back. When we knew it was going to be hard to keep him behind, but I saw that it was going to be possible with the ERS advantage that I had at the end. Hopefully the stewards do their job. I saw that it was pretty aggressive with the moves. I'm not sure what happened behind, but I know from my perspective, I'm not sure if it was too much of a fair move. But it is what it is. 2-3 still good points for us, and keeps us alive for the Constructor Championship tomorrow, fighting with Mercedes as well. So yeah, still one more race to go.
So we don't think this kind of decision is over at the moment? You think there could have been a few issues with what Thomas Ronhaar did?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'd be very disappointed if there wasn't even a conversation with the stewards. I mean, it's something we got to look at. So yeah, I can't really go too much into detail. So yeah.
On the plus side, a positive penultimate round for Ferrari, obviously with Barry getting pole position as well. It is a bittersweet ending, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I mean, we still got 2-3, which it's sad to see that we're not feeling that happy. I mean, we just had it on the grasp of our hand, the 1-2, and it could have helped us even more for the fight tomorrow. But it is what it is, and we'll wait.
It's still going to help you now. I'm going to let you get off and bring your teammate in, if that's all right. Thank you, Nicholas. Barry, let's bring you in. Come on in. How are we doing? We look stressed. Second place.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, Original is probably third. Thanks to him, my teammate let me pass. Because in case I'm fighting for like P3 or P2 in the Driver Championship, I can get it. But yeah, I mean, nonetheless, it was a good race. We tried to manage it, and I think it was Kik tried to play the team game. I mean, obviously, it would have been quite hard to win the race, Thomas having such a big tyre advantage. I mean, at the end, there was some moves. It was quite borderline, a little bit dirty, I guess. But I'm just going to wait for Stewart to see what happens. I mean, even if nothing happens, I guess P2, P3 is quite good. But I mean, most likely probably should happen, I don't know. But I mean, if it happens to win the race, still is Nico's win. And yeah, I'm just super proud of the team. We got the strategy quite right. We were working quite good together, like last year. And yeah, it was a good race.
I was going to say the strategies were really wide open. There was people starting on all sorts of tyres and then changing things here and there. And it seemed, I know obviously Thomas got you guys in the end, but it seemed like it was a really good strategy call from Ferrari.
Yeah, obviously, I really like this type of tracks that you can use all the tires and actually get a good result with it. So it's just all about what is your plan for the race. And I think we planned it quite good. And yeah, I mean, at the end was we were managing the whole race, and yeah, we just need to see what happens in the stewards room.
Some positives to take from this race, though. I know we keep mentioning the stewards room, but it's still, even if it stays as it is, it's a second and a third for Ferrari, which is great.
Yeah, obviously second and third is just never bad. You know, it's a huge point. But yeah, I mean, I just yeah, I'm a bit upset, not because of the stewards room, it's just Brazil. I'm just a bit upset because of that. Simple as that. I'm not really upset about anything. It's just that tiny mistake costed me even fight for the championship probably tomorrow. So yeah, just a little bit upset because of that, but nonetheless, yeah, good race.
Okay, we shake it off and we go again tomorrow. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Yeah, thank you too.
My goodness, what a race that was. And I'm delighted that we have with us our race winner, Thomas Ronhaar, after an absolutely sublime performance there. Thomas, huge congratulations. That was quite the drive. How are you feeling after that? Have you had a chance to breathe?
It still hasn't really come to my mind yet that I won the race. From, I think, out of the pits, I was 17th, 18th. I was not thinking I was going to be anywhere near the top 3 or 4. But of course, we had something planned before the race to, let's say, make my strategy, let's say, work better than the others. Of course, Tigo stayed out longer. His race was pretty much over from that one onwards. He didn't quite have the pace, so he decided to help me out. In the end, it worked out really well because I think Jarno and Freddy could hold up really a lot. I think I was on 2 level tires and I was right behind Jarno. So yeah, worked out really well for me, and I'm very happy to take the win.
Talk me through the hairpin moves, because I don't think I've seen so many moves than that ever. And then there were some other ones that were in places that definitely shouldn't have overtakes, but that's because of your tyres. And I think we might even see the highlights now. So talk us through the ones that were going on here.
Well, that one you saw was on Jarno. I think that was a really good move. This one's not on the broadcast, but yeah, as you can see, fully went for it. Made the car just about stopped. And then here on Barry, tried to get a good exit and sort of... I mean, I made the apex perfectly, as you saw here. It's just the tyre
advantage. He opened the door, didn't he? He was like, oh, yes,
I nearly lost it on the exit. And then here, I would say that was probably the most aggressive one I've done this race. Like I said, in the scenario I'm in, I have to go for it. And yeah, in the end, what the outcome might be, we'll see. I think it was a very good move. I think it was on for sure. And yeah, like I said, I'm very happy to take the win. The moves I did was kind of like event 1 Jeddah, but a bit more, let's say 10%.
Ronhaar the aggressor, I think we called you.
But yeah, I had to go for it. It's the penultimate of the championship, so it's yeah, you have to go for it in this scenario.
Were you surprised to see the lack of hard tyre runners around you when everybody went onto the grid?
No.
No, you said that was...
I think I was going to be the only one on hards because of the strategy we were going to do with my other teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas and I think both Hasses were on hards, but they were a bit further down, so I couldn't quite work together.
And talk us through your mindset when you were 5th, I think, in the opening stages of that. When you saw everyone around you on softs or mediums, where did you expect to fall back to compared to where you actually fell to?
I think at the start, when I saw everyone on softs, I was like, I might be out of the top 10.
So we thought you were feeling pretty confident at that point.
Yeah, but yeah, after being P5, after lap 5 or 6, I felt very confident that if I go longer and then eventually people get held up, I'll be right back into it. And the 5-6 lap different tires is just so massive. And then you can break so much later. It's, a lot.
When you came out of the pits, did you think the title was done? Did you think you had too many
It
cars
was in my
to
mind,
pass?
yes.
Yeah.
If I finished behind Jarno, it was over. So, like I said, in this scenario, where he's P4, I think, or 5th on track, if I finish 2nd, it's only an 8-point swing. So that means I have to win tomorrow and he finishes, I think, 6th or below, because if it's tight on points, he gets on comeback. So, yeah, for that to happen tomorrow is very unlikely. But yeah, in this scenario at the moment, I'm only 8 points behind. So, yeah, all I have to do tomorrow is win, get pole, and then maybe fastest lap, and then P1 will mean
just everything. All off as bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow what happens. The only thing I hope is going to be a fight between only us two and not anyone else. Obviously, there was some tactics with Mexico, with the other drivers. We did it today. I think it was very, very fair what we did today, just making sure that our strategy was the best. But yeah, excited for tomorrow.
What about Abu Dhabi as well? Of course, that is tomorrow. Let's say you are 8 points behind, and that's how it ends, because obviously we've just celebrated an amazing race. We'll see what the stewards have to say.
Yeah.
How do you fancy your chances there? We've heard Jarno say it's not his favourite track. What do you think about Yas Marina?
In practice, people have told me it's my backyard. So
okay, all right. So it's Ronhaar pole fastest lap and win then.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the last few games, Abu Dhabi has always been my best track by far. Even though in 2022 I didn't get pole, 2023 I did, even being in a title fight. So it goes to show, even being under pressure, I was able to get that lap in. So yeah, like I said, tomorrow I'm feeling very confident, and I just want a clean fight, and then we'll see who's champion.
We can't wait to see how tomorrow goes, but for now, soak up all of that buzz, because that was an absolutely incredible performance by you, Thomas. Huge congratulations once again. Thank you so much for joining us here to chat.
Thank you.
We're now going to run through the results of that race. When I say we, obviously I'm going to hand it over to you guys to do this.
Oh, thank you. I couldn't imagine Bravo doing a graphic, so thank goodness we're here. Thomas Ronhaar won the race in spectacular fashion. He's passed almost everyone to take the 25 points in the win. Look at the gaps on the right-hand side, just to see where he might drop if there was a penalty of a second added. Barry Burman let through on the line by Nicolas Longuet. Ismail Fassi fighting drive from him to finish ahead of Jarno Opmeer. And then you've got Freddie Rasmussen ahead of Pookie. The point scorers were rounded out by Otis Lawrence, Lucas Blakely and Ruben Pedreno.
In a theoretical world, I feel quite sorry for Longuet, because he's given up the position to Burman. If Ronhaar does pick up a 1 second penalty, that's a win for Longuet.
Loses out the win. Yeah, surprised they did that, but they're great friends and they've worked together all the way through. Barry was working with Nicholas, but anyway, that's what they've done. Ruben Pedreno with the final point scored for Williams. Do we have a second page? Lucas Blakely got the fastest lap.
Drum roll, please.
I'm sure we do have a second page.
There it is.
Because I saw the other 10 racing out there, and they included Duncan Hoffland, Alfie Butcher, Jake Benham, Declan Barrett, and then Shanaka Clay, Yoni Tormala, Tom Manley, Thomas Gow, Josh Edu, and the man who played the game for the team.
The Tyho train.
Tyho Hardy, who was able... look at the gap, 33 seconds off the back of the end. It leaves the driver's
pace. He just lacked pace, Alex.
It leaves the driver's standings looking like this. Jarno Opmeer has the advantage. I'm not sure they're right.
That's not right.
I think it's 8 points as it stands between those two. Let's bin those.
Let's get rid of those
Let's bin
graphics.
those. Let's bin those.
Ignore that. Pretend you didn't see that. Lovely work
Red Bull
on
were top of
the
the
race result, though. Lovely work
I
there.
thought so.
Now we are going to head over to Marcel, who has picked out some of his best bits from that race.
He's there.
He's there.
He's there. It's Marcel Kefir.
Finally, some good content. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, guys. You're amazing. But welcome, everyone. We are here again to analyze the highlights of this race, and the biggest controversy, obviously, a couple of moves from Thomas Ronhaar, but what also led to some discussions, and I think the stewards will sit here until tomorrow morning. This is the Tycho train, which they call it. And we can see Thomas Ronhaar, his teammate, right here. And he was holding up everyone on old hards. They could always argue, yeah, there was the strategy, but I highly doubt that this extreme sort of level of slowing down is considered normal. So I don't know. I will leave it to the stewards. We will also see how much they tried to slow down Jarno here. I don't think it was excessive, but it still made a difference. In the end, the order didn't change much. It just helped Thomas with catching up to the pack a little bit quicker. Then we are starting with Ronhaar's pass, his first pass on his second stint, which was the crucial race-winning stint. And that is on Lucas Blakely, where I was surprised that Lucas, usually a quite aggressive racer, he did not defend at all like they were working together, which they obviously didn't. Great move from Thomas, no contact there. Then we have a penalty, which probably will be a penalty. So we have one thing, Thomas overtaking on the inside. I don't think there's anything with that. But Tom Manley, for some reason, thought it's good to go down the inside of one of the fastest flat-out corners and causes a massive contact, causing a 3 second for himself and Shanaka. which I think will get removed eventually. He pushed him off 3 times off the track. There it is. So yeah, he was laughing whilst doing that, but I don't think he will laugh after the stewards are done with him. So yeah. And next up, we have a pass from Thomas Ronhaar on Otis. That was super clean, no contact at all. Great send. There was one of his first in the hairpin. Another one with Frederick. I think this is also clean. There's no big contact, and I think this is the pass of the season, because look at this. Freddy is trying to help out Jano, his teammate. He's going deep, and Thomas does the switchback. That is ridiculous. What a move that was. Honestly, for me, pass of the season, and now we're getting into the championship fight. Jano and Thomas goes very late. We could see Jano kind of holding the middle of the lane, moving over to the right because he doesn't think he's going for it. Then he's realizing it doesn't go fully to the right anymore. And in that moment, obviously, Jano also starts to turn in. Thomas does his usual full lock to slow down the car. There's a bit of contact, wheel banging. Now what's interesting, you can't see that fully from Thomas's onboard. He gets the move done. But I think Jano played that quite smart. He's trying to make it look like Thomas actually pushed him off, which I believe was not the case. It was aggressive, and he can always argue that he used him to slow down because of this contact on the inside. But now he's opening the steering wheel and then turning more again, driving off. I don't know. I don't know if that was smart, if that was actually the consequence of not having enough grip. Is that really pushing off the track, or is that trying to maybe get him more in trouble? Let's see what the stewards have to say about that. Then we have another pass, late send on Fassi, which is crazy, but I think it's still fair. Good overtake with the way the handling works on this game. Then we have the onboard also here from Ronhaar, from Jano. I don't think there's going to be anything for that. That's actually perfect execution with his late send. Oopsie, sorry for that. And now we are getting into the more feisty stuff with the Ferrari boys. There was a great send on Bari after it didn't work out, and then he nearly lost it. We also have the onboard from Mr. Bromand, who's still in the fight for a couple of important points for P3, P2 in the championship. There we see him. They make a bit of contact, and then Thomas suddenly, I think he pressed the overtake button too quickly on acceleration and didn't expect the car to get any wheel spin, but it happened, and then Bari nearly had a launch at him again. Didn't work out. And now the final big overtaking moment. This is crucial because we've heard the Ferrari boys complain. That's usually not a corner where you actually go for moves. So I don't know. It's the last lap. He's obviously trying to get the win. Otherwise, he knows Jano is pretty much champion already with the way Jano performed this event. So he's going for the inside. You could, in some way, argue that he's getting alongside early enough. Then Nico's also doing the wheel locking, slowing down. And with that, he's pushing far. This is probably going to be an incident where he could get a pen. Oh, but it's difficult. It's difficult to say. Let's have a look at the onboard from Nicolas Longue, where you can actually see when he locks the wheel, and suddenly, yeah, I mean, okay, that actually looks like there's no space at all. From his POV, it looks way worse than from Ronhaar, but it wasn't the best move. He had a couple of great ones, and also from behind. From behind, it doesn't look actually that bad. But from Nico's onboard, it looks very bad. Let's see what the stewards will do tonight. It's going to be a long night for them, and at least it was exciting for the viewers and us out there. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Marcel. What everyone at home can't see is that Marcel has an absolute audience who are now applauding him for his work there. So very nicely done. We need to bring you some breaking news because we have just heard that Thomas Ronhaar has received a penalty. And as a result, that changes the race result and, of course, changes where we are in the championship. Going to hand over to you guys to talk us through which of all those moves that Marcel just took us through the penalty is for and our thoughts on it.
Okay, so it's a 1 second penalty for a dive bomb move from Thomas Ronhaar on his title rival Jarno Opmeer, turn 6, where we've just seen all of the moves reviewed by Marcel Kefir. It's controversial, and it's obviously changed the result. So he loses the win. The winner is now Barry Borromond as a result, but I think Kick Sauber are going to be straight upstairs.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're going to appeal it on the basis of as we saw. You've got the driver on the outside. We're going to have another look here. So it's very aggressive, no doubt about it. It's very aggressive. But you've got to have a car's width on the inside if you can get in there level. Otmir is obviously going to squeeze him and then does the classic exaggerated, I've been forced to run wide.
He opens the steering wheel.
He opens the steering wheel. The one I thought might get penalised was Nicolas Longuet at the end. Because that is clear contact for a sustained duration. That is going to get argued. I think that, you know, the nature of it is fascinating because the stewards are in a really tricky position because they're now into the stage of the season where you're influencing the way to the title battle. But when you give yourself that much to do, when the moves are on the brink like that, lap after lap after lap, that's the risk that you run. If you gave Thomas the same chance again, I think he'd do nothing differently. No. Yeah. But we've got a brand new winner. And after all the brilliant driving from Longuet and Ronhaar, it's Barry Burman who takes the win. As it stands for this moment, I think that's going to get scrubbed. Mainly, I think they might have a look at the Longuet one further along. But if that's a penalty, I'm highly confused.
I genuinely think the Fassi one is worse than that. When you actually looked at the two, Marcel brilliantly went through all of them. I can't believe that's the one that we got the 1 second penalty for. And as you say, these are all open to appeal. The teams, I mean, the stewards are going to be here till probably sunrise.
Yeah. Good luck to them.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you so much for continuing to play the replays here, Gallery, because there are so many overtakes to analyse, and Marcel's obviously gone through them. But Ferrari are obviously going to argue that they were done dirty by Ronhaar's moves. It's going to be a long night, but I think what we felt there was that of all the ones, that was not the deserving penalty for us.
Thank you both very much. We will keep you updated with anything else that we hear from the stewards. If there are any other penalties, if any appeals are successful, we will, of course, let you know. But let's just show you how things stand right now, based on the fact that that penalty is currently in place.
Yes, so Jarno Otmir goes back to having one hand on the championship trophy. He has 148 points. Thomas Ronhaar is down to 127. As a result, we have a 21-point gap going into the final race of the championship. Mathematically possible, but not the 8-point barnstormer that we thought that we'd had when we were making loud noises across the line. It is worth saying, it is still a title decider tomorrow evening.
It is three-way.
It is worth saying because Fassi's still within the margin. What a weird day, though, because everyone's put their heart and soul into that. The adrenaline's up, and then, as we've seen with many Grand Prix in real life, the air comes out of the balloon, a late race penalty. Either way, Red Bull are having a party because they are clear of now Ferrari, who find themselves in second place. Mercedes, having led the way for a really long time, now dropped to third. And then you have Williams having their best season in sim racing. Sauber in fifth, and then you can see the other names on the board. Wow. What on earth has gone on today?
I can't believe it.
Yes, that has definitely shaken things up a little bit. We will continue delving into this because there is so much to unpack. I mean, the race itself was quite something, but what's happened since has really shaken things up as well. But for now, we're going to pause and take a breather and hand over to Claire instead. Well, we just gather our thoughts. Claire, take it away.
I feel like you guys absolutely need to take a breather. So just take a few moments and I'll chat to Esteban Pukki here. Because we just had a look at the drivers' standings there and then the championship standings as well. And unfortunately, Mercedes were leading the way coming into this final round. But it's all dropped away a little bit, hasn't it? Can you just talk to me what's happened over the last couple of races and where the mindset is for Mercedes now?
Well, it's a bit bittersweet feeling right now because, of course, before the season we had high hopes. As you should as a racing driver and as a team. But realistically, I think anywhere in the top 3 we would have signed before the season. So it's still not terrible position. But coming into the event with like 28 points of lead, I think, ahead of Red Bull and like 30 or even 50, I think, to Ferrari. It's not quite nice to lose the lead like that and having, I think, a bit of still hopes for the last round to even get Red Bull, but of course that's quite unlikely. And right now we are just focusing on keeping Ferrari behind us, or actually now we have to overtake them as it seems we are 2 points behind. With the Drivers' Championship before the season, I knew I'm not going to race on all the races. So I didn't really, I have never really thought about it like I'm going to fight for the World Championship this year. So it's not something to set about for me. But tomorrow there is still a day, still a race, and it's gonna be Jake and Donny racing, and I have my full trust in them and the team. So 2 points is not a lot to gain, and we will try to catch Ferrari.
So your season is over now.
Yeah,
You're
actually,
done.
yes.
You can go and have a drink and chill out tomorrow. You don't even need to come in.
I could. That would be not.
I don't think you can get away with that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be nice. How do I phrase it? Whatever. So yeah, I will come here and cheer for the guys and help everywhere I can tomorrow.
Okay, so the camp is pretty okay at Mercedes at the moment. You're feeling pretty good still? Because I know there's a lot of work that went into getting to where you guys were, and also over the last couple of weeks spending time at the factory. It's been incredibly intense, I bet.
Yeah, we spent a bit more than 2 weeks in England all together right now. Jake even more because
So you're done with each other now? Too much time together?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But of course, in a relationship it's like this, so it's not a relationship as they say if you don't fight with each other.
True.
But yeah, I think we got close to each other, we like each other, and we try to help everywhere we can. Probably we're gonna keep the same lineup next year, or I don't know, but that's the plan for sure. Maybe they don't fire me. Let's see. But yeah, what else can I say?
What's a positive outcome for Mercedes now at the end of tomorrow?
Definitely P2 would be the best. Before the event, I would have said P1, of course.
Yeah.
But even if we don't get P2 and we stay P3, I don't think we would be entirely sad about the whole year, because finishing in the top three with such a strong field and every team is competitive and every team is capable of winning races. So I don't think we would be sad about P3 either. But of course, P2 is a goal now.
And Mercedes have done a really great thing where they've had the 3 drivers as well, so it shows that consistency has been really key for you.
Yeah, well, we have all been kind of on the same pace, so it was really tough decision for a team, I think, to decide who drives where and what tracks people get. And it was very hard for them, I think, to get comfortable with everyone, how many tracks we drive. So especially before the first event, there was a big inner competition between us drivers to fight for the tracks.
Yeah.
But in the end, it has been sorted out, I think, quite nicely. Like almost equally, everyone got their races. So I think it's pretty fine.
Yeah, I think it's worked out well. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I'm excited to see if you guys can manage to pick up a P2 in the Constructors. Fingers crossed, of course. Hopefully no more breaking news has happened, but let's head over back to Ariana, because who knows in this championship.
Thank you so much, Claire. Well, we've caught our breath. That was quite the day, quite the race there, and that is where we will leave things for tonight. And we will see what unfolds over the next few hours. As these guys have said, I think the stewards are going to be very busy.
I think if people check social media like 4 a.m, I'm sure the F1 Sports account will post something around.
They should be
there.
able to make it back to the hotel for brekkie. So, priorities.
Thank you so much for joining us at home. Thank you, Claire and Marcel, for all of your coverage. And thank you too, as well, Alex and Matt, for keeping me company here on the desk. That is all for today. What an action-packed day. We go into tomorrow with championships to be decided. Make sure you join us. We're back on air at 6 p.m. to go racing and qualifying, of course, in Abu Dhabi. But that is all for a jam-packed day. Get some rest and come back tomorrow.